Live streaming is on.
Pavel, very sad news. They closed Cosmos Terrace.
They closed.
Half city.
They closed everything. The fucking Don Miguel is closed. This is very sad news. Don Miguel is this bar here, the corner.
Yeah. Oh. No, but that's not closed. It's devastated.
Yeah, no. They transformed into the shop or something.
The only Mr. Kebab exists.
Yeah. But they're jeopardizing everything. But why Cosmos Terrace is closed? No, but because of this pandemic and everything.
They kicked me out of the train station. I've got it. Pandemia.
No, she's schizophrenia, first of all, but yeah, this is life. Так это во всем мире. Куда можно подсобачить?
Это...
Я хочу телефон зарядить. Отлично. Да. Бесочки? Да. Красиво большое. Она подключена? Нет, Ну что, еще не все собрались, да? Верите? eu cred că interfonii de un microfon ăsta. Tu te conectat, da? Aha, ok. Дечь. Ну что, все на месте, да? Просто я смотрел на вас с другой стороны. Короче так. Дело было в 96-м году. Нет, дело началось намного раньше. Я сейчас вкратце расскажу о себе, и как я дожил до этих дней, и как это все случилось. If you, so we speak in English, yes? Okay. Yeah. When I finished my school, so it was 1989. Yeah, my dream was to become a cook. And I wanted to apply to the university, Technical University Moldova here. It was called the Polytechnical Institute. And then when I came to bring my papers, the man who was responsible for these abiturient, he asked me, do you have a golden medal or silver medal? My attestat of my marks were not so brilliant at that time, and I said, why is this question? And he said that if you have golden medal, you really have chance. But if you have silver medal, you have no chance because it's a big competition among golden medalists already. And my idea to become a cook, because I spent one summer with my uncle. He was working as the chief cook at the train Chisinau-Moscow in the Wagon restaurant. And I spent one summer going Chisinau-Moscow daily. It was fantastic. It was really great time. And I saw him working and I was helping him, and I realized that this is really fantastic job, and how he, now I can see it like he was a real performer, what he was doing and how he was attracting people. He is a super nice guy. His name is Valentin. He works until now. He's in Moscow now, opened his restaurant with a cool cook. And then I said, I want to follow him. My father was really upset. He said, what do you want to do? This is woman's job. I cannot believe. My father is a doctor. But then when I came to bring these papers, I realized that I'm a little bit far away from my dream. But then this man said, look, you could apply to another profession, the same department from the same faculty, but then in 1 year you can switch. And when I went to choose the profession, so I only saw the elementary, because the official name of cook, it was the technology of elementary industry. So you don't learn how to cook, but you learn the technology of food. And then I saw, when I came, so in the same faculty, it was the profession elementary industry, and two other ones, machines and apparatus of elementary industry. And then I saw in the elementary industry, I said, okay, I go there and I applied. I entered in the very first day when I came, I saw only machines, technical drawings, super crazy schemes. That was the thing that I was really avoiding, and I was running off from my life, all my life, and then suddenly I realized that I really knocked on the right door. But at the end, so I graduated as an engineer mechanic in 5 years later. So I didn't switch. We became friends with the cooks, these guys from the technology of food. And then I realized if you want to become cook, they told me that later on you can do it, because I wanted to quit several times university. It was really crazy time, because it was the time when Soviet Union disappears, money changed, all these crazy things. So for me already was just, my target was just to finish this faculty, and then we'll see. And on my third year, I met Vadim Khinko. I met my friends from the pioneer camp who were studying at the architecture department. Through them, I met Vadim Khinko. And then he was a photographer. He was taking photos in the municipal kindergartens. But before then, I found a job at the central train station in the bar where I worked until I finished my study. The last year, my father asked me nicely because I was working there was 3 shifts and you work 1 day and 1 night, like 24 hours, and 2 days you're home. And I was absolutely sure that it was really cool, but it was really fantastic time. I had a lot of tips as a student, as a poor student, so you could really afford to invite your friends to a bar. And then I met Vadim Khinko, and in the moment when I met him, he was with a photo camera, and I immediately realized that if he teaches me how to, because I had the dilemma, so I had to find a job as an engineer and to continue my career, or to find something that at least something just to switch the trajectory. And then I met Vadim, and immediately after I finished the faculty, I asked him, look, teach me how to do photography and help me to. It was really beautiful. He explained me like in half an hour what is diaphragm, where to shoot, how to charge the film, everything. And he gave me one address. I went. This kindergarten doesn't exist anymore. It was really beautiful. It was on Kubomchalo Street. They had a beautiful черп, олень, как олень по-английски, я забыл. Deer. It was beautiful deer, and it was really fantastic. And I came there, children were expecting me already. I took 2 films, I took pictures of 2 films. When we developed them, nothing was, it was just, you couldn't see. So I really missed up everything. And then Vadim said, no, but the thing is that the frame is really good. What you do, the frame is good, and you have to do it just again. And I said to my friend, look, Vadim said that I have a chance, there is a chance. And then Sergey, the architect, he said, and how many times you will do it again? This I remember just because it was my first film, and then I did it and everything went fine. And then I worked as a municipal photographer for 3 years. Then I got interested in the photography, and the only magazines you could get all in English. And then I decided, okay, I go to learn English, and I went to the Soros school, which was called Open World House. It was super expensive. I don't remember how much time, but they were only 2 hours per week. But still, it was a new technique. Like you don't learn grammar, you don't write anything, you only talk. And Ron was the guy, super nice chap, and he was our teacher. And when I finished, after the second phase, something like this, I had already an advanced level, but still I decided to apply to university, to the State University for Languages, postgraduate. It was 2 years only, and the price was almost like I would pay for this 6 months or 3 months, whatever. So I entered there, but when we finished this course in Open World House, I took some photos and I gave to everybody just to say goodbye and have some memories. And Ron showed these pictures to Octavian Shama. And Octavian Shama was the first director of Center for Contemporary Art, which just opened in this year. And then at a certain point, one guy comes to me and said, what is your name? My name is Pavel. He said, look, we are opening a Center for Contemporary Art, and we are preparing carbon art. And if you want, you just come, you do the photography, you do the documentation, but then if you have an idea, you just do whatever you want, because we have the facilities. In that year, for me, it was, I didn't have money to go to holiday, to the seaside or something. And then suddenly appears such an opportunity for 20 days. I didn't think about contemporary art. For me, it was really interesting, but main thing, it was really mean, but it was, I remember it, that you do photography, you do what you want, 20 days, they give you food, they give you shelter, why not? And then I said, no, but I already from photography, I wanted to do video, so it was my dream, like film and everything. And then I asked Vadim. Vadim said, no fucking way, I have to go to the doctor, to the dentist, because he was already, no. He was not still a student in ATF, in Academy of Film of Theatre from Bucharest. But then what happened? So there I made my first work. At the end of this camp, it was really crazy and fantastic time. It was probably the best time and for my life as an artist, because I didn't know anything about art, I didn't have any references, and I didn't have any fear. So for me, only being among those artists, among those, because we became friends now, all those, I don't know how many, 30 people we were there, and you see what crazy things people are doing, and immediately I was collecting my ideas. And then during this camp, Octavian invited Hugo von Falkenburg. It was a curator from Amsterdam, and he gave us few lectures about performance and about video art. And he was showing us craziest things, fantastic pieces of art that we were watching. And then I was asking myself, because every time when you came to this new field, you ask yourself, what is this bloody mean? What do they want to say with this? And I always ask and say, Pasha, art doesn't have a meaning. And I never understood what is this? How is this to go to do something without any meaning? And now, of course, so it was really fantastic because you had to understand it yourself. For me, so you didn't have a teacher, you didn't have anything. So you just have your friends who are doing something they don't know what to do, or they know, but they don't know how to explain. And that was really crazy. So, and then I show you, this is my second piece, because first piece, it's a nice, but that's not the one that I want to show, but I show you this piece that I made in 97. It was already second carbonate. And with this piece, yeah, I started to travel the world. That was I would say that was my first performance. I go here, just. Девчонки. Так поставь медиа видов. Нет? А у тебя LVC, есть. Звук. So, yeah, that's my first work, and it really gave me this opportunity because I started to send this video. It was, for me, what was very complicated to find festivals. I didn't know because I was sending them. Probably I sent even to Cannes. Because you knew only about film festivals, and you're sending to film festivals, and every time I had a pile of refuses, really huge refuses. Every time you receive this letter, you open it, you read, oh God, no. And then I realized that if it's a long text, it's a refuse. If it's a short text, it's a yes. And then I received one yes. And the first festival was Ostranenie. It was in Berlin, in Dessau, in Germany, in Bauhaus, Dessau. And then when I came there, it was completely, you came with all these great artists from Eastern Europe, because it was a festival of Eastern Europe. And then I made friends, which until now I'm there. And then I decided, okay, I have to continue. And Center for Contemporary Art, for me, it was my second home. It was open all the time. It was very close to my house. And for me, and we had a video camera there. That was a great acquisition process. It was a small with this mini VHS. And then so I was even starting to work, but still I put myself a target that at least one piece a year I have to do. But at that time it was when it was Octavian, so the center was really flourishing. We had budget and there were exhibitions every year and sometimes even several exhibitions a year. And I will show you a few other works. So from this piece, I started to work with paper. Paper, of course, is the first medium that people were transporting information, and for me it was very interesting. And so it was discovered, as people say, it was in 105 hour, so after before Christ, BC. And then for this material, so I really liked it, and for me it was also to work as a sound, very important. Also like a white sheet, because it's white sheet and then transformed in something. And then I had really a long series of this. I'll show you a few. For example, yeah. Also, I was invited during that time. I was invited to International Performance Festival. Soon to go. It's Mark Zerman. Octavian made us a beautiful trip. We went there with the car of Contemporary. It was a festival which was raining 10 days, every day, but really heavy rain. Yeah. The piece is called Pioneer.
Nem esik az eső. Nem. Hova menjek a sátorokba?
The camera was done by Dan Spataro, the assistant of the director of the Proiect. He was almost an accountant or something like this, but I'm happy that we had this camera.
Vannak tudjátok, nem mindenki ebből lenne.
Ну, sikor.
If you have questions, you ask, but I was going. So it was 105 meters, as it was the year of invention of the paper. It was 105 meters, and for me it was really interesting, like to bring back paper to forest. But in the same time, so Ideally, I didn't know about this location because I had to choose the location then, so then I decided. But that's how it's like you first, like the paper is every time when you touch. So you have, whatever you touch, you immediately have you are the pioneer of discovering. You can read many layers. I show you one more with paper, but if you have questions, don't hesitate, okay?
Can you say part that you didn't have a high school artistic training and you started to work career with it?
But I think it was clear when I explained it. I didn't have any clue. Yeah, I'm self-taught. This is also one camp that was organized by Slava Druca.
Acum Pavel Braila, în acest care
I had to be.
a dat la
Как молодо. And it was also in the, as you could say now, in Periphery, and how we made the Periphery the center of the world. Слушай, я не помню. Это у Славика Друца, у бабушки. Sau Hârtopă Mare, da, cred că. Da. The piece is called work, работа. So for me, it was interesting because as we were in countryside, and you know that in countryside people are very much related to the land, to the soil, and they have lots of tools. And for me, but I was still working with paper, and I was trying to make a link between these two fields, and also I was very much impressed at the time by the Malevich and his black square, and then I decided to make the white square and transform it. Yeah. At that time, I didn't know about such organization. Oh, you mean White Cube like an art space?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, maybe. But yeah. Ну, я не помню, чем я тогда был. Во время работы? Ну что, во-первых, чтобы не поранить себя, это было вообще, там топоры, вилы, Не, ну это тяжелая работа. Физический труд это тяжелая работа. И работа художника тоже не из легких. Это как сейчас я могу интерпретировать. Тогда я... И мне еще было очень всегда, то есть я не хотел делать очень длинные работы, потому что эту работу можно было продлить на несколько часов. Это уже, если говорить об economy in art.
Ну, кстати, я как раз в Праге заметил, когда люди были на этой exhibition, видеоарта, около ту работу не смотрели, потому что она не длинная.
Это
а были
я
работы,
понял.
которые несколько часов, и люди просто смотрят 5 минут и уходят,
уходят,
потому что,
да.
ну, как бы жизнь...
Я это понял на документе, но это уже потом я вам расскажу. Это был арт-кэмп. Это арт-кэмп.
Как на Славче была идея сделать такой же кэмп? Это карбонат был, да?
Это карбоната не было денег уже. И Слава пришел с идеей, потому что у него был этот дом, там земля, и там... Я не знаю, какие, потому что была куча работ. Были ребята из Одессы.
У них была тогда тусовка в Одессе.
Но мне до конца просто тоже, я не знаю. Ну, в то время я вообще не думал об этом. At that time, I'm sorry. At that time, so you see, these are just documentation. But in spite of this, few museums acquired these works, which I'm really happy. Yeah. And most important, the transit collection from Erste collection. It's in there, but if I would do it now, maybe I would do it differently and pay attention to everything, which I really suggest you before you start to do a piece. You have to think how you store it, how you document it, and how you keep it. Yeah, because for an artist, I have a lot of works which I only can tell about them. I don't have them, and this is really sad. And this piece also, you don't see it at the end, but you can realize that it's already the end of the work. You see already the shaman, but all the tools, because, my father we have a piece of land, so-called dacha, but it has nothing to do with dacha, with my idea of dacha, because for me, dacha, you go and you enjoy your life. You go outside the city, beautiful, whatever, like a river or a lake or something. But my dacha, it was 600 square meters of land, and we were working. And all my weekends, my father was trying to make from me an agronome. I will tell about another works later. And I knew how to use those tools. The thing is that for me, they were very familiar. I don't want to say that I was super happy being in the field with my father and dreaming about next harvest, and while my friends are playing football. But I forgot to say that before I finished the school, we had so-called UPK, учебно-производственный комбинат, because at that time the state was thinking about the future of every pupil, and we would get the profession before you finish the school. And we had once a week, we would go to this center of learning production, something like this. Yeah. And you could choose the profession, and I chose the profession of cook, and until now I have the certificate of the cook of the 3rd grade. So when I was there, I thought that it will help me too. But already before I finished the school, I was doing many sports, but in the university, I was representing the team of freestyle wrestling, and I'm a 3-time champion of Moldova of freestyle wrestling. between 89 and 89, 94. Yeah. So
How long did the performance take?
it took maybe 15 minutes, not more. It didn't take long. So then slowly I started to, as you see, so I started to use camera, and I started to use camera, and because center was really connected very much to different other other Soros Center for Contemporary Art, and there were exhibitions. And one of the biggest exhibition I took part at that time, being still just at the very beginning of my artistic career. So it was the performance in the East. I think, yeah, well, Marina Abramovic, Olay, all the stars from Eastern Europe took part. So for me, it was, unfortunately, I couldn't go there. It was in Stockholm. But yeah, no, Body and the East. I'm sorry, Body and the East. And all these works were presented there. And yes, in '99, I was, after I finished the university, I was still doing photography and I was still doing art, as I was quite active guy in Soros for Contemporary Art, but I find a job. I was public relation expert in International Transport Association, and I was really lucky because they had really good computers and super good internet, and I was watching all kind of stuff and looking for academy, because I realized that I have to do something, because I didn't want to work in Naita all my life. And in '99 I applied to two schools, one in France, one in Poland, in Maastricht, and I was accepted in Jan van Eyck Academy. But I show you White Promenade. It was already, now I show you a few works which were already during my study in Jan van Eyck Academy. So I was still working with the square, with white square. So this is the last carbon art that took place in 2001 in Dubovaya Rocha. So it's a projection of the forest on the snow. Just to understand, because sometimes you could see that it's a effect. Это в Дубовой Роще. Это когда едешь на Левше. Ну, сейчас там супербаза. you don't mind, just to save a little bit of time, I will go a little bit further, just not because I think you more or less understand. I know it's a little bit. It wasn't 2006, I don't know why it's 2006 here, but it's 2001. Maybe I edited. Yeah, maybe because the performance was in 2001, but I waited like 6 years. It took me 6 years to edit it. Because for me, it was most important, at the time, it was most important to make the performance. And then, why I didn't have many performances? Because I didn't document them. And then I came to the idea that I started to document them in such a way that later on, I made out of them a video piece. And then I'm gonna show you another piece, which is also in the same technique. It's a square and it's a camera from the top. And it's, as Anna said that you've been now in Sweden, not so many people know about Moldova. I confronted this. My first time I was abroad in '96 in Amsterdam. And at that time for me it was really fun to explain that people are so curious. Where is Moldova? What it is? At the time I was still really talking English very badly and I was confusing words. Once I said that when I was explaining, they asked me, what is the stema, gerb? Okay, the logo of Moldova from the passport that you have, like this eagle, and once I was explaining, and then instead of eagle, I said egg, and people came. It was like 20, and I didn't realize, but it was 20 people. They had egg. At that time, internet was not there. People couldn't check. They have egg on their passport. This is fantastic. I want to have your passport. Yeah. But what I want to say that I didn't was paying attention to how to document it, but then later I realized that this performance could have a longer life, because performance, when you do a live performance, is only a live performance. Now you can do documentation, streaming, whatever. Now it's just fantastic. People maybe you even don't have to do afterwards another piece. You just do the documentation of the performance. But for me, it was very interesting. Like for example, in the first performance, because the performance in fact took probably 6 minutes, because it was like 100 meters, but 10 seconds. How much I was running, yeah. It was really fast. It was like less than 20 seconds. Alexander Kiney was running behind me, and it was only one take. And friends of mine, I asked when I was running and shouting, I asked them to shout together with me. And then I edited, and then I had 1 minute out of, I don't know how many seconds, but it was fun. For me, it was, yeah, and I experimented, you see, I used slow motion, I used all the effects that were able at that computer at that time. Yes, and now
This performance, you did with an audience.
it was full of audience, because it was the same carbonate, and audience was around me. I never did performances without audience. No, in fact, I had one, which I did. I knew that it's going to be a video piece. I will show you later. But now I want to show you, yeah, as I was explaining that I was telling about myself and where is Moldova and everything, and then I was in Jan van Eyck, and it was not an easy time for me because I was first time abroad. I didn't know what to do, and yeah. Jan van Eyck Academy, it's an art center. It's not an academy that I had in mind, that you go there and you have teachers and they pour the knowledge into your head and afterwards you know everything. It's just a super nice experimental center with 3 departments and only 24 students a year, something like this. 24, 25 students a year. They have fine art, design, and theory. And if you are there, you can switch departments, you can do whatever you want. And I was super lucky because I got the scholarship from UNESCO. And then second scholarship, I had the Dutch scholarship, which is NUFIC grant, which is, yeah, at that time it was 100 guilders, which was like 1,000, 1,000 guilders, which was like 1,000 euro. And NUFIC was 1,000.5. All my friends said, you can get married, you can bring your wife. It's 1,500 guilders. You can. It was really, and I started to travel. But the best thing about this academy, because it's an art center. I lived 2 years in paradise because you only speak about art. You live in art. It's a community. I had great friends, and you have always jumping from theory, hardcore theory. You know, for that time at the beginning for me it was I was sweating. You know, you don't understand a hell what they're talking about, and you see works that you never would accept yourself to watch. Super violent, super sexual, super open, and for me, coming from Christian family to Holland, in Holland, it was for me it was really tough. And but the most difficult for me was that most of the artists who've been there, who were there, they knew exactly what they want from their life. They knew about the system of academy, of galleries. They knew exactly what is going to happen. For me, my first thing, what I was doing, if I want to stay in the West, and if you want to stay in the West, you need a visa, and how you survive. If you come home, because for me it was clear, if I come home, what do? I have to, again to find a job and to forget about art after 2 years doing whatever you want. It was no, it was really fantastic time, and for me, what was really difficult, and also because still I was feeling myself like you feel this gap, especially cultural gap. Here, all the artists, we've been together, we were discussing our project. It was super open, and somehow everybody was participating in all this performance. Like you see all these camps, because we had such conditions that exhibitions were after the exhibitions, we had carbon art every year, then we had Kilometer Shapte, and then we had to be the next exhibition, and then it was the exhibition, annual exhibition of Center for Contemporary Art, and then we had the performance festival. It was greatest time in my life. Now, if I look back, without thinking, nobody was thinking that we were happy that somebody gives you material, camera, and whatever, and you do whatever you want, and you don't ask about artistic fee and who is going to pay your rent and for your drinks and for everything. So it was, so you're doing pro bono and only for the joy of doing art. And that was really great. And then I came to Jan van Eyck, and for me it was, yeah, that was already a question about the future. And then you are from Moldova and you know exactly that it's, I mean, I went through all this line, all this purgatorium of visas, applications. Every time you want to go somewhere, you need to go. I stayed lines in embassies. Okay, now it's gone. I'm super happy that Moldova has now free passport, free visa entrance. This is, yeah, I mean, it's, yeah, it's finally we're part of something big, and it's really, freedom is there. But for me, it was really complicated. I didn't know what to do. And then, so I made this piece. In the first time I made this piece in Chisinau at the Gioconda Smile, it was called the festival, but I didn't record it. So I didn't have the facility to document it, and then I decided to repeat it. And it was, but then I repeated with a special meaning because it was, yeah, for me it was a moment of reflection. So that's my birthday. Это одна доска и нет, да. Да. Они были, нет, это, the camera was from above, on the top, because I knew later on that I will project it on the wall. So it was very, because, but when you see live performance, because I asked friends not to enter in the second frame, not to enter in the camera, but you could see what I'm writing. I did this performance several times, and I did it also with paper. I mean, in Croatia, I was writing on the paper. And you can read, you can follow the, I mean, if you want to read, you have to follow the line, because I was writing with the nail, because there was something, they had a lot of paper. I wanted to do something with paper, but then I decided to make this performance, and then I made it with not with chalk, but with paper. So you don't have to, because many friends of mine said that I have to repeat this performance, because so the biography goes, my events, because you realize, I was writing the important date and what was happening. So it's, and phrases or something that can bring me there to the past. And what I'm saying, and for me, I knew already before that I will screen it, so it will be live performance and then it will be a video work. Okay, we go further. So from Jan van Eyck, I started there was a lot of facilities, and then I made being in I make it shorter. So being in Jan van Eyck, so I was selected already in Documenta, but before no, for me what I was also I wanted to tell you, because being in Jan van Eyck, it offered, so there were a lot of opportunities. So you could write a project, you get the money, and you go and do it. So, and friends of mine at that time, Anna Felice with her husband, they were living in Africa, and I was really fascinated, and they were telling me stories, and I wanted to go to Benin to see Africa, and I had different meetings with tutors, that visitors of of the academy, because the thing is that we are 24 students there, but every week we have 1 or 2 guests, and during the year you have like 100, let's say like you have 100 teachers, and after they have their presentations, and then you invite them to your studio, and they watch your works, and you discuss what they think, and they give you ideas, or they give their feedback about what do you do. And I was planning this trip and work because Benin, it's the country with polygamy. So a man could have many women. And friends of mine discovered a character for me. So it was one guy, he was almost 90 years old. And all his life, what he was doing, every day what he was doing, he was visiting his children, because he had more than 100 children and already grandsons, and he would go and visit them and say happy birthday. Yeah. He was, and for me it was just wow, super fantastic. And everybody, all these tutors was supporting me. And I remember one guy said, I'm really fascinated. You come from Moldova to Holland, like a center of Europe, center of art, and then you decide to go to Africa, which is really far and more extreme. And then I had a meeting. It was Silver Lotringer, who also came, and during my visit in my studio, he asked me, and half of the studio I was telling him about Moldova. He was really interested. What is Moldova? What do you do? And then I started showing him works, and then I said that, look, I want to go to Benin, I want to go to Africa. But during this meeting, I had a bottle of wine from my father, and yeah, I gave him. We smashed it by the end. Probably it was, well, we were supposed to have 1 hour, but it was maybe 2. And then he was the only one who really critically reflected and asked me the question, why do you go to Africa? You are from the place that nobody knows, and you go to a place that you don't know nothing. You are white, they are black. What the fuck are you doing? Why don't you do something that you know and we don't know, and show us something? And then in that night, I changed completely. I changed my idea, and probably in 3 days, I bought a ticket and I came home and I made another documentary. I don't know if I have it, but it's called Handmade Song. I can show you a few bits about Handmade Song. And then, but as we have the performance, I show you like about my, let's say, way. But still, I will stress more on performance. So for me, it was very interesting because I met just before, when I was in vacation, I met a lady. We were at a party, and I saw a lady that she didn't give a damn about the party. She was only making things happen. She was cooking, she was serving the table, she was cleaning, everything. No, she didn't sit a second. And for me, she didn't sit really, like, there were probably 6 hours of this party, and she was just a guest. She was just a guest there. And then I called a friend of mine, and I asked, could you find her? And he said, yeah, no problem. We can go to her home, to countryside. Her name is Nana Frasina, and I made a film about her that everything she does, it was only with her hands, and I can, yeah. Popiești de jos. The entrance is a little bit long, as I want it to be. Opa.